Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Echo Art with Carmella-T. Thank you so much for joining me today. Here we are so close to Christmas, and, we are a community and a family and here to support each other. I am sending all positive wishes and vibes to you through the holidays. With that said, you're probably saying, well, where the heck have you been, Carmela? And I have actually finished my a book, the book that speaks largely to what we are doing on this channel. So I will be talking to you more about that. With that, all the nitty gritty editing that I had to do, I had to focus on it this past week. And then ended up adding a few little bit more info that I wanted in there and things like that. But yes, it's finally done. And so soon we'll be talking about that. Now, with that, I wanted to first, I want to just show you this beautiful, if you didn't see it in my other videos, this beautiful, beautiful poinsettia. And it's a small one. It only costs $4.99, but it brightens up the whole room. No matter where you put it, it's just adorable. So I really wanted to share that with you. See if we get that in the camera a little bit. And the other thing is, you can see I'm wearing the scarf. I'm going to take it off in a moment to show it to you, but I'm wearing the scarf um, that we made with the silky yo-yo, with the silky fabric. And I just want to show you, look, you can take the scarf and this is how long it is. I can put it around, wrap it around, and have it hanging down on both sides. I could put a little pin here if I wanted to. As it is, I have a pin on that's a dolphin pin. I got that at the thrift shop. I mean, you find some really gorgeous things at the thrift shop, right? And so anyway, this is the scarf. And so you can see, I'm just going to hold it up. And this is about 34 inches long. It's about 34. And what I ended up doing, and this was largely because of time, I ended up, um, as you can see, just designing it to the point where I have a different size yo-yos. If you look closely, you can see, and you almost can't even tell, but I loved the different size effect. And see, there's larger. It's just so beautiful. And you could probably even wear it, as a scarf around your head or ponytail or, seriously, you could you could wear this. You can use this for a lot of different things, actually, even a belt. So with that, the silky yo-yo scarf is complete. And I'm happy to say. Now, again, I did scout for some purple floral. That's really what I was looking for this past weekend, and I just did not find it. So with that, I ended up just working with the two-tone floret designs that I had. Now I want to show you the way that I connected these because there's a couple different ways. These are just for demo. And so you put the yo-yos back to back. And you want to make sure when you put your stitch in that you're lined up with the center, because I mean you could put it in over here, but then your yo-yos, depending what you're trying to do, may fall on a different angle. So depending on the angle and how you want them. As I was explaining to some people, if you notice here, well, first I'll show you here. I love tie knots. So I ended up doing a tie knot here. And I mean, all through the piece, I use tie knots. After I've written for many hours and many days, I almost have a hard time talking. So I apologize. But, I use the tie knots, and I love them. I love the look of them, I like the effect of them. So you c when you if you do a tie knot with your, yo-yos, just use your center as a guide for both sides and put your, fingers, just kinda pinch it where you want your tie knot to go, and then just put your tie knot in. Now, the other method I was describing to you is you could bring the and I'm going to make this not double, I'm going to make this a single. You can bring thread, your thread and needle inside. Okay, you could go inside the yo-yo. It's going to be a little tricky. This cotton material is much easier to work with than your silky. So you can go in where you want that thread to come out here. Okay, basically, you are just making a stitch from the inside. Now, because I don't use this method, it's a little foreign to me, to be honest. I learned about it a long time ago. So you've got your yo-yos, and now just what you're going to do is you're not going to make an external stitch like that or anything. You're not going to put it through like that. Rather, you're going to go inside your a yo-yo. So with that, that's bring it up through that space, that hole right there, cut it, and then put your knot so that then you've got them connected. As you can see, I'm leaving that as a loop right now so you can see the loop. So just pull that, and that is how you can connect these to the yo-yos that way. Okay, so I do use the tie knot because I love the aesthetic of it. So that's how I did these. And so now I really want to answer a question that somebody had, and I was going to drop a video on it, and I decided um, I was inundated with tasks. And once you're at the end, so just to explain that a little bit more, the tasks that I was inundated. Once you're at the end of the book and you're kind of like at the finish line, you may submit it, and then KDP or the publisher or whoever you're working with, they'll let you know right away, this and this and this got to be fixed or whatnot. So it's very, very minor. But if you don't stay right with that and that mindset, what happens is, and you just kind of leave it for a day or half a day, or you don't go back to it for a little bit, it's very difficult to refocus. So I really needed to stay with all the little things that I was doing to get ready to get that book out there to be published. So that's the next thing. So with that, what I want to do is someone asked a question. They want to do Boro Sashiko, but they don't want to cut up their fabrics. So I have this piece of fabric. I just want to show you for a second. It's very small. It's probably 12 inches by 12 inches. It's just a plain, table linen mat from the thrift shop. But if you notice on here, you see the geometrics, okay? And so on the back, it's very pale, and whoever manufactured or made it folded the hem from front to back, okay? This is an absolutely perfect piece. To not, if you don't want to, because let's say you just totally love the design of a piece of fabric and you just want to keep it, but you want to do a little borrow. For this example, these are geometrics. So you could follow the designs with your running stitch or your sashiko stitching, your visible stitching. Now, let's say you have a piece like this. This is a little bit more intricate. It's a little bit more paisley. Um, Oh, and then I'm going to talk to you about the backing and whatnot with that too in a moment. But with something like this, you could pick randomly different little areas to make little French knots or to make little vines, like little leaves, if you want to do embroidery like that sporadically through it, or use seed stitching, or do little grids here and there throughout your piece. It whatever kind of creativity you want. So, but if you have a piece that's floral, I'm just grabbing this yo-yo because it's a floral piece. So if you have the flowers on there, maybe you take the flowers and you just make a little seed stitching or a little running stitch or a little French knot or something in the center of the flowers, or again, randomly, and maybe contrasting the different colors there. Um, Now, the other thing you could do is um, let's see, I thought I had another piece, maybe not. But the other thing you could do is simply take, hi, how are you? Is simply take your piece of fabric and let's say you're not worried about the design. Okay, let's say because this viewer is talking about flowers. So let's say you have all flowers and but you want to do your sashiko stitching. Don't cut it. You don't have to cut it. You can get whatever size piece it is. Um, Simply do your stitching just like you would. Here, let me show you like this. Um, I'm not going to put a knot in this because I'll pull it out later. But let's say you just start stitching. I'm going to do it with the floral. And you start stitching the fabric. Let think the fabric, if you would this is your base. It's your base for your sashiko stitching. Boro, this is funny because that this question came in, and it's been on my mind because it's an excellent question. This is a great cup of coffee. Now, the reason it's an excellent question is because there are so many ways to do Boro inspired art pieces. I mean, it's a whole nother book. I was trying to add a section on and off the past few months on that. And I said, that's a whole book in itself. So this is one of the ways. Sashiko stitching or visible stitching creates a Boro piece. So let's say you just start, I'm gonna watch that. Start your running stitches and you're just going along and you cover the piece. This is going to be actually kind of pretty. See, that's pink. You cover the piece like this, just with your running stitches, whether you're going around it or you're going back and forth or up and down, making crosses, whatever it is you're doing. Do not cut your piece. Just leave it. If you want to follow your designs on there, play around with that. Maybe you follow your designs. However, you can just do your simple running stitch all the way through the piece. You know, maybe we'll do a project like that because um, it's a really beautiful, absolutely beautiful way to create a piece of Boro. So essentially, you are not adding any patches. You're simply working with that one piece. So you go through and do all your running stitches. And then you're like, well, then what, Carmela? Because I've got stitches in the back. Now, the stitches in the back, depending on what you're making, are intricate to an art piece, or they can be. Basically, you can leave the back if you want to. If not, what you can do with your piece is simply do a back to front hem or back to back. So the back to back is you're just folding the piece you're working with, right? Like that. And then whatever piece you're using for your backing, you are also uh, folding that. This one already has a hem. So then, and then you just sew along the hem. So then you have a beautiful, beautiful piece. Now, just to add to the decor a little bit, you could take the cloth that you have and it sounds like you have a larger, the viewer who was talking had a larger piece and didn't want to really cut that piece up. However, you could consider cutting it, let's say, in half, right? Fold your piece, whatever it is, just simply fold it evenly and just cut it in half. So you have two large pieces of whatever it is you're working with. And take each of those pieces and simply do your sashiko stitching um, on each piece. Now, with that, I want to just kind of reiterate this is a very simple running stitch. Many of you know it's the most basic of stitches. However, it's the stitch I use primarily. Now, sashiko can be very intricate. They have many different designs, and I've seen terms out there. I've seen it called sashiko embroidery. I had never put the two terms together because the mindset of sashiko, of this stitching for me, was not really embroidery. It was more mending, repairing, and this and that, not on a decorative. However, there is sashiko stitching on a very high decorative level. So that's something to consider with your piece that you do not want to cut. So those were the few ideas that I had, and I really loved the question because Boro can be made in so many ways with free stitching or just a patch where you're stacking independent patches on it, or patchwork quilts like we do, or like the hats that I make where we're using just remnants. They're not even the same sizes, and we're just piecing together a hat. And visible stitching, sashiko stitching, and the scraps make it Boro, along, in my opinion, with the mindset that we are creating something with scrap fabrics for use, for something we're going to use. So anyway, with that, I wanted to jump on here with that. And let's see, what was the, oh yes. So the um, next video, so we're back. So let me put it this way. Um, because I kind of have been off track for a couple of days for like really the past week. But now with the book done, I'm back on track. So I'm back on my schedule where I can do writing in the morning and then do my artwork in the afternoon with you. And you know that's my favorite time of day, to get on here with a cup of coffee with you. By that time I really need another cup. And but yeah, we're going to be looking closer at, I'm going to put this back on, closer at the yo-yos, the history of the yo-yos, the different ways that in England they took these yo-yos and the concept of them and used them in decorative design for fashion. I mean, fashion, yeah. For those of, I don't know if I have anybody out there who is into designing and sewing, like dresses and fashion and whatnot. But if you're out there, it is something to consider because the yo-yo, first of all, it's totally an ancient, like centuries. It was made centuries ago, and it's different. It's really different. The thing is, like I say, you always want to say, you were inspired by maybe the Suffolk puff. and you turned it into a beautiful piece. I don't know. So, anyway, with that, I'm happy that I was able to connect with everybody today. I hope that you're having a beautiful week. And, we're in the holiday season. And I just want to say, I really want to say this because I witness it, I'm on the other side of it, and I always pray I'm not part of it. Is that people can come across as very agitated, um, rude, right? They're out holiday shopping and they come across as rude, you know, or assuming and even, even say things to you. So with that, in my view, nowadays, especially, I always try to prepare myself, with a short prayer on the way out the door, or even in your home nowadays. So, with that, I pray that everybody's safe. Be extra alert nowadays, and I hope that you all your holiday wishes come true as the holidays. And we only have I would say, what are we on the 17th? Okay. So yeah, we have less than a week, right, to Christmas, or about a week to Christmas, and then we have the New Year. So I'm already working on another book, and uh, I'm very, 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 very excited about this book. It is actually one I started a while ago, and so I'm bringing it back to life, and we'll be publishing that. That one is going to be fairly quickly because much of it's done, and my artwork that I did for it is also pretty much done, unless I decide to add something. So with that, that's what I was going to say is, with 2025 coming in, it's a wonderful time of year to, in my opinion, at least for me, I go through all of my fabrics again. I sort them out. The ones I'm not using, I, bring to the thrift shop or gift somebody with who I think needs it or wants it. And I clean out all my clothing in my closet too. I don't throw away my clothing. I just clean it out, reorganize. It's it's not like I'm gonna clean it out and go on a shopping spree, okay? For 2025. No, 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 no. Uh, Clean and reorganize it. So with that, anyway, that's kind of how I start thinking, is reassess, kind of look at where things are in my own world and life, right, in 2024, and where do I want to be in 2025? What do I want to do? How do I want to contribute to our society, our community, our humanity, all of it? How can I do that? One patch at a time, one drawing at a time, one needle felted bear that's watching at a time. So, anyway, like that. If you have any ideas, you'd like to share how you bring in the new year, do you do reassessment, or things that you do traditionally? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And with that, I hope that you have a beautiful rest of the day. It's Tuesday, so I will see you most likely. I will see you Thursday. If not Wednesday, I definitely see you Thursday. So with that, you have an absolutely beautiful day, and thank you for being with me. Love and light.